Today we'll be making an egg custard pastry with a mango chamoy topping. So this recipe is an original recipe of mine. I didn't follow any recipes online. I kind of just thought of this idea out of nowhere and put it together. And a lot of my coworkers and friends who taste tested this pastry with me said it was really good. So here I am showing the entire cooking process. We're going to start off with all-purpose flour to make the pastry dough. So 2 cups of all-purpose flour should be good enough. Then we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar and also a generous amount of sea salt. We're going to top off the pastry dough with a tablespoon of almond butter just to give the pastry a little more flavor. So give that a good mix. And next we're going to cut a whole stick of chilled butter. We're actually going to use 1.5 sticks total. And you want these into little cubes. And make sure the butter is completely chilled, otherwise it's going to affect the pastry. You don't want it melted at all. Once the butter has been cubed, go and mix the butter into the flour mixture. Make sure you knead in the flour with the butter, but you'll notice that the butter will make these little chunks in the flour, and we want to keep it that way. We actually do not want the butter to melt into the flour. Afterwards, we're going to solidify the dough by adding a little bit of cold water at a time and mixing the dough together with your hands. The dough should start to form and clump together, and as we add a little water at a time, it's going to get more and more sticky. And once the dough has completely combined together into one ball shape, we're going to want to stop adding water at that point. And we're actually going to roll the dough out into a rectangle and fold it into thirds. Then we're going to want to chill this dough for 2 hours in the refrigerator. So go ahead and roll the dough out and then put the dough in a plastic bag to chill in the fridge. After chilling in the fridge for 2 hours, we're going to roll the dough out into a rectangle and fold it into thirds. Over and over, we're going to want to turn the dough clockwise or counterclockwise after the fold. So it's going to be pretty hard to roll the dough out initially, but after a few minutes out, the dough will like warm up a bit and make it easier to roll. But yeah, you're just going to roll it out and fold into thirds. Do this about between 5 to 9 times. So the more times you do it, the more sort of layers is added to the pastry. So if you want a more puff pastry-like consistency rather than sort of just like a tart consistency, then you'll want to roll it more times because you'll have more layers and it'll be like more crunchy. So I rolled my dough about 7 times. And once the dough has been rolled out for the amount of times you want it to roll it out, we're going to put it in the fridge for another 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're going to roll the dough out completely into a large rectangular shape. I'm going to cut the dough into 2/3 and 1/3. So 1/3 of the dough is actually going to be used as topping, as like a cover dough. And you'll see what I do with it later. So separating 1/3 of the dough out, I take the remaining 2/3 of the dough and roll that out into a more even flatter shape. And what I'm going to do now is mix about a tablespoon of milk with 1 whole egg and beat it completely. And we're going to put the beaten egg mixture on top of the dough. What this does is makes it more brown when you bake it. So we're going to fit the dough now into a cake tin, and we're going to fit the top layer of the dough into another pan, circular pan, and poke holes in the dough so that it doesn't rise too much. Next, we're going to pre-bake the dough at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes. Now, while the dough is pre-baking, we can make the filling of the egg custard, which will involve adding 4 eggs, 1 whole package of cream cheese. I use the low-fat cream cheese. We're going to add a cup of evaporated milk. And finally, we're going to add about 4 tablespoons of sugar. Now I use monk fruit sugar for calorie-free, but you can just use regular sugar if you'd like. And then I also finally added a splash of nutmeg. This is just to give it more of that sort of earthy flavor. Mix the bean egg mixture with milk and cream cheese and beat it until completely smooth. And after the dough has been done pre-baking, we're going to add the cream cheese, milk, and egg mixture custard onto the cake tin. So fill that up completely, and we're going to bake that mixture for 20 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the egg custard has been baked for 20 minutes, it'll start to set in, and at this point you can add the top crust onto the cake tin and brush off the top with the bean egg milk mixture that we had earlier. This is so that the crust will be golden brown. And we're going to bake for a final 10 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So 30 minutes of baking total at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to make the topping with the mango chamoy now. In a small bowl, I cut up chunks of mango. I used 2 whole mangoes for this. And I added about 3 tablespoons of chamoy. You can buy this at any major local grocery market. Give it a good mix and then add the mango chamoy to a saucepan. And I added 1 whole jar of peach mango fruit spread. This is to make sort of the jelly topping. And for the fruit spread to solidify, I actually added a packet of gelatin. So mix that in with a little bit of water and then add it to the saucepan. And we're going to just heat this at medium-low heat until the gelatin and the fruit spread is melted. So after baking, we're going to top off the egg custard pastry with the mango chamoy mixture, and then we're going to let it cool for 30 minutes before putting it into the fridge for about 5 hours. At a minimum, you can leave it overnight, which is what I did. And there you have it. That's the completed mango chamoy egg custard pastry. This pastry could be eaten either cold or hot, but I highly recommend eating it hot. I ate the pastry, half of the pastry cold, and while it was good, I felt like heating up the mango chamoy made it melt into the pastry and gave it this really nice sauce that you can use to wipe the egg custard and the pastry with, and it was absolutely delicious. All my coworkers and friends who tasted this dish also said it was delicious hot. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and or subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot. Once again, I wish you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching.